I feel like I crossed an ocean to get to you live today. Yeah, I had a few scheduling conflicts and then some serious internet issues. So I'm in a friend's location, thank God for that, who happens to have a beautiful image of Isis. So everything's working out exactly as it should. Um, Thank you for your patience, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you live today. So, wow, I'm going to make this a rather brief live because my internet connection isn't that strong, but I'm going to go into a much more in-depth live tomorrow morning when I'm back in the studios. So I just want to speak to everyone's hearts, that, we've received so much correspondence over this weekend of how intensely everyone is feeling these global events that are unfolding. And I just want to share with you that it's perfectly reasonable to experience all of the feelings that you're having. And this is also the opportunity to be curious about how much humanity's heart is opening, to be curious about how much compassion is overflowing as a result of so many of these issues. Good morning. There's an outpouring of compassion, there's an outpouring of awakening, there's an outpouring of unity within the heart of humanity as we face these extreme circumstances. It's also important to keep in mind that the same media that brought you the intensity of the past 2 years is the same media that's bringing all of this footage to you in a very specific way, to stir the pot and to keep us in a state of total panic and fear. And it's up to us to remember that no matter what is rising and falling in the field, and this is a pretty big rising and falling, especially the way they're framing it, what's really important for us to focus on is how much love we are embodying, how much divine order we are embodying, how much our unified field focused upon that compassion, that witnessing of humanity's growth in this moment makes a difference. What an impactful difference that you're making in your daily spiritual journey. And I just want to take this moment to just say a prayer for everyone's heart, and of course for everyone surviving these circumstances. And hi, welcome everyone. I'm so grateful to be here with you. I know the connection is a little rough, so again, I'm going to keep this short, and I'll be definitely back with you on a much more clear and empowering transmission tomorrow. So we can bring hands to our hearts, breathing into that beautiful heart space that is the throne of your soul. It's that anchoring point within your body that brings forward the light of your soul into this world. And this light of your soul is divine and sovereign and free. And so is the soul of every individual that's here having this human experience alongside you. In fact, the collective field of humanity is sovereign, divine, and free. And it is only through influence and perception of reality that we choose to either separate ourselves from that truth or draw closer in the unified field to the truth of who we are. So, earth angels, let's draw closer to the radiant light of each of our souls and that collective one soul presence that is having this learning experience on the planet right now. I welcome you to feel the rays of that soul, that sun of light, that Christ consciousness within you, radiating at the very center of your being, and feeling the rays of light expanding out in every direction, connecting with the rays of light in everyone else's hearts across the world. And as you do, you may you witness just how many souls are sending their love, their prayer, and their compassion to these parts of the world that are in extreme conflict, both in Ukraine and in Russia. There are people protesting all over Russia that are facing dire circumstances for standing up in their truth for peace. And feel how there are people in countries from all over the world whose hearts are connected to yours, and lift your wings up from the back of your heart and send out a beautiful source light resonance of peace, equanimity, forgiveness, compassion, divine love, healing, the unified field truth that we are all having the same human experience. We all love, we all experience sadness, we all experience anger and grief. We all want the best for our children. We all want the best for our future. We've all been hurt. We all want to move beyond the hurt. We all want to feel fully alive, whether we know it or not. That is the human experience, a heart expansion into more love, more trust, more grace, more miracles. That's what you're choosing today. A deeper centered knowing and your invincible connection to the source. And as we deeply feel into and radiate these divine virtues, qualities, and this divine consciousness through our body, hearts, and minds, we send that resonance out into the collective field as our balance to the aggravation and the anxiety. This resonance of the peace that passeth understanding, which comes through the embodiment of Christ consciousness. We allow this resonance to touch the hearts and minds that are being deeply impacted, who are struggling, who are experiencing directly the ravages of war. And we welcome millions upon millions upon millions of angels and masters of light and archangels and star nations to divinely intervene in all ways to bring peace and comfort and healing to every individual affected and impacted by these actions. The truth is being revealed here on many, many, many levels of reality, much of which is beyond our understanding. And at this moment, we choose beyond the narrative. We choose to step beyond the polarities and the dualities of what could be true or could be a lie about these geopolitical circumstances. We step beyond them and we step into that seventh plane consciousness, Buddha light, Christ consciousness, and we look at this, this very impactful situation that we are feeling ripples of across the world. And We gaze through the eyes of the compassionate witness. We activate our third eye of discernment. We open our heart to the Holy Spirit of our higher selves. We deeply anchor our direct connection to the source, and we resource the strength and the grace of our heart connection to one another. And we bear witness to that which is evolving right here in this moment, to that growth that is being accelerated and amplified by these circumstances. And we ask for and call forth the divine will and the divine order that allows for humanity to evolve for its highest and best good beyond war consciousness. And if humanity is choosing this war consciousness to evolve, that there will be divine interventions of grace, that those who are ready to evolve beyond this, who are caught in the crosshairs of this learning experience, would be extracted from it, would be supported to find safety and refuge. And may our heart's prayer and may our ability to command miracles, we call forth the heavens to open. We call forth all of the ascended masters. And I'm really feeling the presence of Mother Mary so strongly right now, and her open arms, opening a stargate of loving support and that radiance of miracles, along with Jesus and Mary Magdalene, this trinity of divine feminine, divine masculine, Christ consciousness. Carrying our prayers and carrying our highest intentions, carrying this love forward on our behalf. And we also welcome all of the seraphim and all of the angelic orders, the Sophia dragons, whatever blessings this part of the world is ready to receive. We ask for your blessings and your breath of life to pour over those who are in the position to make new decisions based on divine love, new decisions based on the will of the people for peace. We trust, we call forth a deepening of the trust within our own hearts that we are exactly where we need to be in meditation, in prayer, in advocacy, by fully embodying the presence of our higher self, by anchoring the divine light of our connection to source, by being willing to be the compassionateness of humanity's evolutionary growth curve, rising up in new levels of awakened compassion for mankind, for humankind. Although there's so much stress and anxiety and destruction, there's a great spiritual awakening that continues to unfold even after the past 2 years of global chaos. And we cannot be deterred from this spiritual awakening because there's no turning back. When Christ consciousness awakens within the heart of humanity, there's no turning back. We're reaching a tipping point. And, these kinds of global explosions are an indication of just how accelerated humanity's awakening is happening right now in this present moment. Hearts are opening. Right now in this present moment, people are feeling more compassion for people they don't even know for the first time in their life. In this moment, people are loving their families, their friends, their communities, even their jobs more than they ever have. There is a baptism of gratitude and appreciation for life the way that it is right now, because it could be gone tomorrow. Not that that's our prayer, but there is a heightening of the understanding of how precious life is. And when we allow this heightened awareness of how precious life is, how much we are really here, we are really called to love one another, to not take sides, but to stand for the truth of humanity, sovereign divinity. This is not a singular war between two countries. This is a war against the heart of humanity. This is a spiritual battle for the soul of humanity. That's what's unfolding here. It's just it's just another scene, another version, another theater of which this battle for humanity's heart is being played out. But every time we face another chapter of this ongoing intergalactic war for the heart of humanity, we are responding through our growth. We are responding through our accelerated awakening. We are responding by becoming sober, clear, and aware that our sovereignty is the everything, and that we can no longer turn away from the truth of our divinity. And the more that we embrace our divinity, the more that we acknowledge, oh, yes, sovereignty, that is the way, the truth, and the life. Whoa. And what is the path to fully embracing that sovereignty? It's the path of loving your own heart first. It's the path of believing and knowing that your love can overflow into this world and radically impact world events. It's the understanding, knowing that when you gather in a community of individuals that are fully devoted to loving their own hearts as the sovereign divine light of God in this world, we are creating quantum waves of miraculous healing light that is touching the collective field of humanity in profound ways that we don't have to understand. We can simply know that that is what's happening. Celebrate that, radiate that, amplify that through our faith and our divine knowing that there is a divine plan for humanity's full ascension. Every time we face a global war or pandemic, or honestly, global psyop being run by those who are really in charge, not who we think are in charge, when we look into the heart of that darkness, don't look away, and we blaze the radiance of Sophia Christ consciousness directly into that heart of darkness, it has no choice but to surrender into our light. It's not going to happen all at once, but it is happening right here and right now. And as long as we loosen our minds, the ego structures need to have to understand the outcome, or have to understand the immediate form of relief. It's like there is no immediate form of relief. People are dying, lines are being drawn. The relief is within your heart. I just made a post on Instagram this weekend. It's like, this is what facing these ongoing attempts to distract us from who we really are, this is what it's cultivating within us. A spiritual practice that is unshakable, the unshakable faith of our higher self, the unshakable faith that we have in a source that created us as holy, divine, and sovereign. That's what these times invoke within us. Why would we choose to experience that? Humanity is currently addicted to learning through fear. Humanity is currently addicted to learning through tragedy and trauma. But you and I, our sovereign divine movement, the Sophia Code community, we understand that as we unplug from the matrix and we unplug from that programming, and we choose to learn directly from our higher self, when we choose our evolution through divine love, when we choose our evolution through the grace of our own light, we are unplugging from learning through trauma. We are unplugging from learning through darkness, which then allows us to face the remnant of the trauma within us from experiencing these global evolutionary arcs. We face that with our own light. We're embodying a new way of healing, growing, evolving, awakening, that the rest of the world, when it's ready, can choose to step into that same path of ascension. For now, we are the keepers of unshakable faith. For now, we are the embodiments of Christ consciousness and Buddha's consciousness that, stands as the compassionate witness for those who are discovering that duality and polarity will keep them on a constant cycle of pain and punishment, pleasure, pain, and punishment. It's very infantile. And that's where the controllers of this world want to keep us. But we must move, we must play chess, not checkers. And how we play chess is by standing as the compassionate witness, filled with the grace of our own divine light, our higher self, our direct connection to source, praying for every soul involved, not just one side, knowing that this is a big part of humanity's collective awakening, and that we are preparing our hearts for those who are awakening to come and to receive a new way of learning. And so I give thanks for the opportunity to pray with you today, to meditate with you today, to dialogue today with you about what's coming up in the field. I'm a little concerned about the internet reception because it looks like it's going a little slow. So I hope that this has been helpful, and I'll be back again with you tomorrow for the KR Daily Transmission with a much better internet connection. Thank you for your patience, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you. I love you all so much. Thank you for being the light of the world. Deepest namaste to you today, now, and always.